Today's episode, we have data to share. We are comparing graphs of SEO, traditional Google organic traffic, to our articles for a handful of clients compared to attributable AI traffic graphs. And the ratio is the AI traffic is in the ratio of about 3%. AI traffic, these graphs are also up and to the right. They're growing, but they're less than 10%, most of them less than 5% of SEO.
The decline in organic traffic that everyone is calling out and saying SEO is dead is just manifesting itself in other ways. It's just people are finding you and then Googling your site, and so it's showing up as branded traffic and it's unattributable to SEO.
Welcome to the Grow and Convert Marketing Show. I keep forgetting to say this in our episodes, but you should subscribe if you like these amazing discussions by these extremely charismatic guys, me and Benji. So you can subscribe whether you're listening on the podcast or on YouTube. You can also get our written articles, which aren't exact replicas of our podcasts at all. So we do different episodes. We talk about similar themes, but we do some really in-depth written articles that kind of go in detail and are a little bit separate. You can get that at growandconvert.com/newsletter. Today's episode, we have data to share, Benji. Specifically, we are comparing graphs of SEO, traditional Google organic traffic, to our articles for a handful of clients compared to attributable AI traffic graphs to our articles. And what we're going to look at is just kind of what those shapes of those graphs look like, what the numbers and the ratio between them look like, and the implications for marketing teams of how that should affect your strategy, to be honest. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Obviously, this is going to make a lot more sense for those watching on YouTube. I will try my best to sort of read off the numbers for those that listen on the podcast. We're going to start off looking at pairs of graphs and the ratios. So on the left side, I have graphs of organic traffic to our articles over time, the overall trend. And then on the right, for the exact same client, all client names have been, as usual, as we do on this podcast, have been removed. We have, for the exact same clients, AI traffic to our articles. First big takeaway. For a lot of these newer clients, I mean, most of these are kind of newer. You see the leftmost is around when we started with them. So the starting dates are like August 2024, Feb 2025 is a more recent one. And then there's some old clients from September, October 2023, and one really, really old client from 2022. I think they actually started before then. But anyway.
Before. Yeah, just the graphs are from that year.
One big thing, that's just a very simple observation. The SEO graphs, other than some of the old clients, which we can talk about in a second, that's a different game of SEO, are up and to the right. They're increasing. We have stuff that starts off at, less than 100 sessions to 900 sessions, right? They're up and to the right. We have stuff growing to the 3,000 sessions a month. The SEO graphs are increasing. So immediately, my first takeaway, a very simple one, is SEO is not dead. Like you can still get SEO traffic. I should say the reason they're increasing is because, of course, every month we publish new SEO content for them that targets extremely bottom of funnel, high conversion intent keywords. But the point is that strategy continues to be a growing strategy. No complaints from you?
No complaints yet. We'll see. We'll see when we get to the AI side.
And then on the AI side, those graphs are also growing. Obviously, some of them, where they start, like let's go to this third client that started a long time ago, or at least before the first two, back in September, October 2023. So it's a couple years old. We've been engaged with them for a long time. The SEO graph has been like a steady increase. The last few months, maybe it's had a slight decrease. AI, of course, starts for most of these clients somewhere around middle of last year, which is like summer of 2024. So this one starts to see some non-zero traffic from ChatGPT in August 2024. We have these numbers. What I notice immediately is these numbers are much smaller. So what I did is make a little ratio sheet on the left side where I just took for each client the last 3 completed months, which when we're recording this is June, July, August 2025, the total Google organic traffic for them to our articles versus ChatGPT, which for those of you that are looking at the graphs, you can see when we say AI traffic, it's like 98%, 95% ChatGPT versus the other ones. And the ratio is the AI traffic is in the ratio of about 3%. We see 2.5%, 3.1%. One of them is extremely low because we have crazy SEO traffic at 0.2%. Ignore that for a second. One of them is as high as 7%. But the point is, AI traffic, these graphs are also up and to the right. They're growing, but they're less than 10%, most of them less than 5% of SEO.
Yeah, you want my
I'm going to pause
reaction?
there in case you have anything to add.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff to add. So, yes, SEO is not dead. The AI traffic is growing. Some things that are interesting though, I will say I've been looking more at the conversion side of things recently for some of these accounts that are mentioned here. Um, Even though ChatGPT makes up a majority of the traffic there, what is interesting is that we're seeing conversions come from some of the other tools. So I just wanted to point that out. So for example, I
Like
know
who?
like Perplexity and even DeepSeek on a couple of them. So that's interesting. So everyone seems to be focusing only on ChatGPT, and I'm sure it's largely because they're seeing these kind of traffic numbers. And I think most people talk about ChatGPT. It has a bigger brand, but again, focusing on the wrong metrics. If you just focus on traffic, and you're not really looking at the conversion data, you're going to over index on focusing on ChatGPT when that might not be the best thing for your business. So, for example, I've seen multiple conversions come from Perplexity, but if you look at any of these graphs, you won't even really see traffic numbers. And so, all that to say, kind of the same concept when we're talking about focusing on the right intent keywords can have drastically different conversion rates than if you were just to focus on really top of funnel, broad things that drive traffic. Same thing applies to AI, which is traffic is doesn't mean everything. Just because all the traffic's coming from ChatGPT doesn't that mean that's where all the conversions are coming from. Overall, AI traffic is increasing, and it's largely correlated with the SEO side increasing as well. So for our clients, we're not doing any AI optimization or
Yeah.
AEO or GEO. So all of this traffic is just coming from us ranking for SEO keywords and the brand growing as well. So a lot of these clients are doing other marketing activities beyond SEO. Some of them we are their marketing, like this is all they're really doing, and they have their sales led or they're doing other things inside of the company to grow them. But what's interesting is we're not like doing any optimizations on the AI side, yet we're still seeing increasing traffic, just indicating to us that all these ideas around things that you need to do to show up in AI, you need to have like the llm.txt on your site, you need to be on Reddit, you need to have all these other sites that are mentioning you. Like that's not necessarily true because we see these numbers increasing without us doing much more than just our normal SEO process. Another thing that we don't have here that I want to call out is we're also just measuring overall AI sessions to the site overall, which is
Yeah,
interesting.
these graphs I should double sort of confirm is AI traffic to our articles for on the client site.
Yeah, and so those numbers are actually larger, which you would expect because it's just all queries that potentially mention this company. It's sending more traffic to the site. But I still, what's interesting from the data that I've crunched so far, I haven't seen it exceed 10% of overall traffic, and I think even so, those numbers are pretty consistent. That it's within that 5 to 10% range for a lot of these clients where the AI traffic, even at this point, is just not making up a large portion of overall traffic. And we're also seeing kind of the same trends on the conversion side. So on the conversion side, we're also seeing something like 5% or less of conversions coming from AI tools at this point. So I think all this to say there's a lot of people, especially these AI tools, claiming that SEO is dead because that's self-serving to them. They want people to
Wait,
spend
wait.
money on.
You should say that very carefully. When you say these AI tools, you don't mean ChatGPT, Claude, and all.
No, yeah,
You
not
mean
ChatGPT and Claude. No, there's the AI visibility tools. There's the profounds. There's the peaks. I think the Ahrefs and the SEM rushes are not saying that as much because
they also have the
they also do
SEO.
SEO
Yeah.
and they're seeing the same data that we are. But the profounds and the peaks, these funded companies that their whole business is to try to grow the AI category as much as possible, have all these like case studies and like things that they're trying to show that don't really make sense to me, or like I really don't believe their data. That's trying to show that AI is like the next big thing and that all this traffic is coming and all these conversions are coming from these channels. But when we look at our client data,
We're just not seeing that.
we're just not seeing the same thing. And this is also confirmed by many other marketers in our space. I know Gaetano just posted something on Twitter earlier today, pretty much showing the same percentages across clients that he works with as well. And so it's not just our data seeing this. I've seen multiple other agencies and SEO people and marketers kind of posting the same data here. And yeah, it's just frustrating, I think, being a marketer and seeing these narratives fly and seeing people try to basically push the narrative that AI is what you should spend money on and focus on when just the numbers don't support it. I guess is kind of the takeaway from here. But I think what is interesting is, look, I don't think anyone, any marketer, any person in house, any CEO should be thinking of SEO versus AI. Like that's also another thing that really bothers me about this space. It's like, yes, we are an SEO agency first or a content marketing agency first, but you can see we're also paying attention to AI because it is a growing trend and it's something that's going to continue to be important. And we're measuring this stuff and we have an interest in it and we're testing how different things work. We're doing both. It's not like it's SEO versus AI. And you're seeing here again, there's a lot of correlation between doing SEO well and also getting good results from AI. And so I also just think this narrative that SEO is dead and AI is better, or SEO is better and AI is not good. I just think the whole trend of saying this kind of stuff needs to die because they all go together. Like they impact the same thing. We're all trying to achieve the same goal, which is how to grow business through both channels. I think that's what the narrative should be focused around is like,
And
how do
both
we do?
things index written content or
Yes.
actually video or whatever also. And we've talked about this in another video, but both things, like we know that ChatGPT and all Google things, and you see that in the graphs here. And so you have this double whammy if you produce this SEO content. One, if you rank for more and more of these keywords, as this data and these graphs are showing, you can grow your SEO traffic, like direct SEO traffic. And number two, that's going to help you get on the radar of ChatGPT, which is the other big one besides Google AI Overview. Question for you.
Yeah.
What about if people have an objection and say, okay, guys, your measurable ChatGPT traffic is an average of 3%, 3.8% of your Google SEO. But how many people actually click on the source link inside ChatGPT? What about the unmeasured traffic? Isn't that much higher? That would be like seeing the brand and Googling over or something like this.
I mean, the same concept applies on the organic side. Like we're not able to measure all the conversions coming from organic. We're not able to measure the impact of AI overviews even from organic as well. I said I was going to save some of these thoughts for another video when we have more conclusive data, but I'll just kind of share my thoughts on this and things that I'm seeing and anecdotal evidence that I have is I think largely what's going on with the SEO is dead narrative is there's some sites that have been around for a long time that have seen largely steady growth in organic traffic. And in the last year or so, they've seen kind of a steady decline, not something crazy, not like 50%
You mean like
declines.
media sites or something, like travel
No,
blogs?
no, just like any site that has largely grown from organic traffic. Like it could be a HubSpot. There was that HubSpot report or the HubSpot case study, and there's
Okay.
all these sites that were just content based sites or SaaS companies that had a blog that have largely grown from
Yeah, that
organic
was like
traffic.
killing
Or
it with regular
yeah,
SEO.
and over the last year, they've seen these steady declines of like 10 to 20% of their traffic declining. Yet, rankings have largely stayed positive. We've seen this across a number of our clients where we're at all time highs for rankings, we're at all time highs or near all time highs for conversions, but for some reason, organic traffic is declining. And every marketer, every in-house person is asking the question why. They just don't like it doesn't make sense. You're at all-time highs for rankings, you're at all-time highs for conversions, but your traffic keeps declining and it just doesn't make sense. And even if you just look at the conversions, like the referrals from AI again is only making up a small percentage. It's like 5% or something like that. So where are the rest of these conversions coming from? One thing that I have been noticing across a number of accounts is that kind of at the same time that organic traffic to specific pages on the site has been declining, you're starting to see an increase in branded searches. It just makes me question, are AI overviews and just more impression share. So like another thing that people are seeing is in Search Console is impression share is rising while clicks are declining. To me, the simple explanation for why that could potentially be is just your organic traffic isn't dead. It's just the way that we were attributing traffic in the past, where you would show up for, like, you would rank number one or two for an article, someone would click into the article, and then you get a visitor on your site for organic, has changed a little bit. Now what's happening is you can show up in Ahrefs or SEMrush as the number one position, but that number one position actually means you're showing up in an AI overview, and that AI overview is
Mm.
mentioning your brand as one of the options. And so instead of you getting the traffic directly from ranking in that number one position, someone is now seeing, oh, one of the top agencies is Grow and Convert. Let me go and Google Grow and Convert, and they come to your site that way. And so what's interesting is around the beginning of this year, in a couple different clients, and again, I'm not saying this is conclusive evidence, I'm just saying this is a hypothesis that I have, is that the sources of the traffic is changing. Like people are discovering your brand in Google through AI overviews and then Googling you. So it looks like all of a sudden your branded organic traffic is starting to increase, or your branded searches are increasing. Or another client like last week or the week before said, it's been really interesting the last few months, my branded paid ads, we're getting a lot more conversions and traffic from that. That also makes sense to me. If someone's discovering you
They're
and then you're
Googling
paying,
them and then clicking on that first sponsored listing.
exactly. So like the decline in organic traffic that everyone is calling out and saying SEO is dead is just manifesting itself in other ways. It's just people are finding you and then Googling your site, and so it's showing up as branded traffic and it's unattributable to SEO, but around those same times that the organic traffic is decreasing, you're starting to see these branded searches increase. And of course, there's other things that affect branded search. If you're running a lot of paid ads, if you're doing other campaigns, if you're going to conferences, yes, all your marketing channels can affect that. But I find it really interesting that you're starting to see these increases in brand around the same times that you're starting to see the decline. And I think this is why a lot of people are saying SEO is dead, because if you're just looking at the traffic numbers, yes, it looks like it's starting to decline a little bit. But like the declines are not crazy. Like if we look at some of those numbers, like these client accounts have grown from zero to hundreds of thousands of visitors, or like 10,000 visitors, or they're just starting to grow.
And we're only seeing those declines for the ones that we have a ton of rankings for. Like these bottom two graphs. Like this upper graph right now is a client where like the first data point is back in 2023. So that means we have over 100 rankings for them if I just do quick math of how much we usually publish. And it was increasing all the way to like March 2025, and there's a few months of a slight decrease from what 3,700 sessions a month to 2,800 of these really nice bottom of funnel keywords. This client, like our content's converting like gangbusters for them. So these are really high converting,
Yeah,
some of
that
the
one on
best
the top
keywords.
right there, we're at all-time high conversion numbers for them.
Yeah, even though we're at a lower organic than we were in March, you're saying we're at an all-time high conversion for them.
Yeah, and these dips for a few months often happen. And when this happened, like as a client, yes, you get concerned because you see the graph going down a little bit. But like again, we're looking at a drop of 3,500 to 2,800. So yes, it's a decent decline, but you can see in November 2024 you had 1 month dip and then you see it go back up again. And sometimes these happen. Sometimes it's just Google updates happen and it
Yeah,
can
I was
affect
going to say
things for
that.
a few
Sometimes they
months.
happen for reasons that have nothing to do with AI. Like the bottom graph we're showing that actually, and you and I talked about this before we started recording, a lot of agencies wouldn't show this because overall it looks like a decrease. But if you look at the actual value, this is a client we've had for I think over 5 or 6 years. So there's data even to the left that we're not showing of how we got here initially. And it's 200,000 visitors a month to just our articles at its peak back in 2023. It has dips and rises from before ChatGPT was a thing. Those happened because of just regular SEO. When you have 200,000 visitors a month and you have hundreds of page one rankings, SEO is a different game where you're just like playing defense and seeing like algorithmic changes and all of this stuff. And so some of that's going to happen naturally regardless of AI. But even if this top graph, you attribute that March 2025 to a slight decrease to August of like a slight linear decrease, like, oh, that corresponds to when AI is increasing. That could be. We are doing, I should say, we're doing much more analysis and we're going to continue to crunch those numbers and release videos and articles with that later, where we're isolating to specific single articles that are ranking for a single keyword and the ranking is held steady, and seeing does the organic traffic from that go down. And like as a preview, a lot of them do go down. So we do see some evidence of like traditional Google organic traffic going down. But as what you're saying is, but for this exact client, as an anecdotal example, even though the traffic has gone down, conversions are at an all-time high. Why? And the client saying their paid homepage branded search is all of a sudden high. Why? And a lot of that seems to, early hypothesis, as you said, point to maybe people are just seeing their brand name, whether it be in ChatGPT or Google AI Overview, and then just opening up a new tab and Googling them. And so, like, you just, it's still
So yeah, so
driving.
it's coming from branded instead of organic. And so like for us as an agency, we're not technically getting credit for those conversions. But it like again, it doesn't really matter. It like I think just even bigger picture, we're looking at just our overall conversions from online going up now. Like there's different ways that we're looking at attribution because attribution is getting a lot harder. It's like browsers are coming out with cookie blockers. There's just like all sorts of things that are happening. Like even to create these graphs are not easy anymore. Like we used to be able to do all this an out of the box GA4 and now Amethyst on our team who's been amazing in terms of trying to figure out all this stuff up. Like what turned from a 4-page Looker Studio now has 7 pages for a lot of our clients because we're trying to look at the data in different ways and try to see different trends and what's going on behind the scenes and explanations for why traffic is declining or what's happening in AI or what's happening to the overall site traffic, what's happening to the overall homepage traffic in brand. So yeah, I think largely attribution's getting harder and SEO is not getting as much credit as it used to because it used to be more of like a direct response channel where you could see someone click into the article and then directly convert. And that's just it's changing now. And so we're having to look at like different attribution windows. I just got off a call today where the client just wants to see a report of conversions of someone that touched the article before they converted because we're only looking at first and last and they're just like I don't think this is giving you guys full credit. And so I like again, I think we like us as an industry just needs to start thinking about attribution a little bit differently and not jump to the conclusions that a certain channel is dead because the numbers show a 10 to 20% decline. And then also, what metrics actually matter to the business? If overall conversions are going up from organic or just overall or from the website, and like your traffic is declining, is that a reason to stop investing in the channel? Or is that a reason to say this channel is dead? No, it's just like, I think we should just be more curious as an industry and keep asking these tough questions until we come up with conclusions.
Yeah, the browser thing makes sense. I was on a client call this morning that you weren't on, where their internal reporting tool, I think, is reporting like, I could be wrong here, but it's something like 2, 3, or 4x what GA is reporting, because something happened in their cookie consent that their internal tool somehow is like passing through that. And GA is just like drop the moment they put the consent stuff on their site. And you're just not even getting anything accurate there as well. Yeah, I think what you said, you said it quickly, but one thing we're starting to do is just measuring overall leads for a lot of these clients. And you might have said this today or on a separate video. A lot of our clients, we're kind of their main or only marketing activity. So for those, it's easy. And those clients literally just give us more credit than the numbers say, because they're like, we're not doing anything else, guys. And our total number of demos or leads is going up. So it must be this. And so then that got us thinking, why don't we just measure overall leads as in general as well to see if they're going up? Because a lot of them are going to show up as direct none to the homepage in GA. And you just normally wouldn't take credit for that. And now you're like, I think people are just seeing the brand name and Googling. So a lot of this is undefinitive. Yes, it was nice when we lived a few years ago in a world where everything was like directly attributable. We don't necessarily anymore, but you got to change and adapt.
If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. You can also get the audio-only versions of these shows wherever you get your podcasts. And you can follow us at growandconvert.com/newsletter for any articles and updates for when these videos come out.